The first time I came across with the art of the Third Reich was when in 1982, Arno BREKER had an exhibition in Berlin. This exhibition was announced by the slogan, "This is the first exhibition since 1941 in Paris." So, and as we all know, the exhibition 1941 was an exhibition in occupied Paris and was organized by the German government in connection with the Vichy regime. We protested against this exhibition. As a consequence, we started a small group of students discussing art in the Third Reich. At the time we started to work on sculpture in the Third Reich, Arno BREKER was still alive. And if you just published an essay, you got a letter by his solicitor telling you that you were not allowed to do that. Looking at his sculptures, you might think, well, what's wrong about them? You have male nudes with many muscles, sometimes with a sword in the hand, sometimes with a torch in the hand, sometimes without any kind of attribute. But those figures were meant to be part of the reconstruction of Berlin as the Welthauptstadt Germania, so the capital of the whole world.
The world, yes.
Yeah, after this kind of disastrous war. And his statues were actually tied to this kind of architecture. So they were meant to mark certain points in the city where power was meant. So. First of all, it was a male system. It was a soldatische system. So it was on army and on wars and on power, male power, bodily power. Force.
Yes.
That's true. BREKER created were allegories. So it's not just bodies he made, but if you call a figure Künder, someone herald, or if you call it Bereitschaft, what would Bereitschaft be? Readiness of the people to follow Hitler into the war, whatever. But you have also in the male figure readiness to be a soldier and be ready to be called for war. In this sense, the male figures represent public life and the female figures represent this kind of sensibility, passivity, and things like that. Motherhood and being a soldier, or being soft and being hard and being passive and being active. So that's an old tradition, but it was really in a sense perfected by Arno BREKER. The point about BREKER may be he created a kind of mixture between this kind of classical gestures and poses and a modern or an actualized, can you say so, version of the human body. It's not so much about having an artistic handwriting in these sculptures, but more like having a reversed version of classical statues, reversed in the sense that it's closer to a modern living person. So you have haircuts from the 30s or 40s, and you have haircuts from or hair dressings with the women. that are quite, I mean, you could date them by the year. You could say, okay, that's 1941 or 1933. Think about what these figures were made for. Think about the system, and think about or reflect about the relationship between art and politics, or aesthetics and politics. Don't take it without the context. As a matter of fact, art is not just fun or pleasure, aesthetic pleasure, but art tells us about the past in general. And if I learn about the past, I may ask myself, what kind of art would I prefer? And also, what kind of political ideas do I have? And do I find them here? So it's just, I think the important thing is always to reflect on the conditions under which artworks came into existence, and then just think about what it means in general about art and ideology, art and power, art and politics, whatever.